Hey guys, so in this video, we will get started on designing the page of the app. And as we change the design, I will explain what we are doing and why we are doing it. We won't be writing any Java code in this project. We will only design what the app will look like and write code for that. So, go ahead and open the project and go to the activity main.xml file. If this file is not open for you, you can find it here in the resources folder, in the layout folder. Now, in this file, you will have the option to have a design view, which shows you only the design of the app and none of the code behind the app. But we will be using the split view, which shows us the code behind the design as well. So, the first thing that we'll do is remove this hello world text. This is a default text that was given to us in the layout, and we don't need a text that says hello world in our app. This block of code is the code that is written for the hello world text. So, one way to delete this text from the screen is to just select this block of code and delete it. As you can see, after we deleted the code, the hello world text went away from the screen. Now, you can see this code here that says constraint layout. So what is a layout? A layout is just the way all the components in an app are organized on the screen. For this app, we will use a relative layout instead of a constraint layout. This is what the organization or outline of a constraint layout and relative layout looks like. As you can see, there are differences in how the components are organized. So, to change the constraint layout to a relative layout, delete this whole piece of code, as that was the code that instructed the app to have a constraint layout. And then type in relative layout with an uppercase R and an uppercase L. It should now look like this. As you can see, the code at the bottom here also automatically becomes relative layout. Okay, now let's add a background color to this screen, which represents our app. Right now, as you can see, the background is white. Let's make it a different color. In order to change the background color, in this block of code, click on Enter after one of the lines of the code, like this. Now, in this line, type in Android :background is equal to. This command allows us to set the background color to whatever we'd like. Now, Android only has some colors that we can use for the background. If you want to use a color that Android doesn't have, then you will need to import that color into the color folder, into the resources folder over here. I am just going to set the background color to purple, and Android has the color purple already, so I don't need to add that color in the resources folder. So, over here, in order to set the color to purple, open quotation marks and write @color \purple_500. This is the command that represents the color purple. So this is how you can change the background color. And as you can see, now our app is purple. Now we'll add one more thing to the app in this video. Let's add a text on top that says total questions. This text will specify how many questions the quiz app has, and we will write code to specify the number of questions later. For now, let's add text on the top that says total questions. In order to do this, go to the palette over here. Now, from the palette, drag a text view and drop it on top of the screen. The text view allows us to create text on the app. Okay, now we have our text view like this, and as you can see, the XML code for the text view has automatically appeared over here. So, if we want to change something about this text view, we can do it through this block of code over here, which is the code that determines what this specific text view looks like. So right now, it has the text view, but we want it to say total questions. So inside this line of code over here that determines what the text says, we will go inside the quotation marks delete the text view and write total questions. Now, as you can see, it says total questions on the screen as well. Let's change the ID over here to total questions as well. The ID is basically what we will use to refer to this text when we are writing other code in the app. It's just like a variable name for a string. You need to refer to a variable by some name. The ID is the name that we give the text. So, in the ID, delete the part that says text view and write in total questions, just like this. Great. Now, the color of this text is black, and that is a little hard to see. So, let's change the color of the text to white. In order to do this, go to this block of code, go to a new line by clicking on Enter, and write Android text color is equal to, which is the command that allows us to change the color of the text. Then open quotation marks and write @color/white. @color/white is the code that is used to reference the color white. Okay, now as you can see on the screen, the color of our text is now white and it's much easier to see. Now I want this text to be centered. So to center the text, we will need to add a certain command in this block of code. You just need to go to a new line and type in Android layout_center horizontal is equal to, and then open quotation marks and write true. Now the text is centered. Great. One last thing I want to do with this text is change the size. I want to make it bigger, because as you can see, it's pretty small. So to do this, just add another command in this block of code that says Android text size is equal to. This command allows us to change the size of the text. Open quotation marks and write in 25 SP. As you can see, the text got bigger on the screen over here. You can make the text size whatever you'd like. For example, I can change it to 50 SP. Now the text is a lot bigger. So I'll change it back to 25 because I don't want it to be this big. Okay, so that's all for this video. We'll start adding buttons to our app in the next video.